Hello, my name is Crystal Petrie and you are watching the Crystal Petrie Consulting Network. I am going to give a review about Netflix's latest movie, and that is The Harder They Fall. Now, just being brutally honest with you, I don't like Western movies. I don't like cowboy themed movies. It's just not my style. But when I seen the lineup in this movie, The Harder They Fall, I figured I'm gonna give this a chance. I mean, they have Regina King in this movie, Idris Elba in this movie, Dion Cole in this movie, and it's produced by Sean Jay-Z Carter. They also have Lakeith Stanfield in this movie. I figured with a lineup like that, you can't miss. And let me tell you, this movie, The Harder They Fall, did not miss. This movie did not disappoint. And this is coming from someone that does not like Western movies. I do not like cowboy themed movies, but this movie I liked. As a matter of fact, this movie I loved. I even hit the little love icon on Netflix to let Netflix universe know that I loved this movie. But let's hop into this review. Before the actors even started acting, the first thing that you see, it says across the screen, even though this story is fictional, the characters existed. And I think that is so important to let people know that the people that are portrayed in this movie are actual real life African American cowboys and cowgirls. So these people lived and breathed and walked this earth. And it was amazing how they were able to take real life people, real life cowboys and cowgirls, and put them into a fictional story and produce something amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, the first scene in this movie, when the acting first starts, you see a man walk into a house like he owned the house and kill a woman and a man. That's how the movie starts. I'm not going to give spoilers. This is not a review that's giving spoilers. I want you to go and watch the movie so you can see it for yourself. But you need to know the opening scene was tragic. So there's no build up here. There's no suspense here. As soon as that movie starts, they're like, let's jump off this cliff. So you have a man and a woman that's killed. Then you have a little boy who gets a cross carved into his head, and the little boy is screaming out in anger and pain and frustration. That's how this movie starts. So I'm immediately hooked from the very, very beginning of the movie. And I just want to point out that part of this movie took place in Texas. And since I'm a Texas girl, it's always good to see us represented on the big screen. So that was fun to see that part of the movie took place in Texas. And can we please talk about the fabulous, phenomenal Regina King? She played this role. She was treacherous Trudy in this movie. An evil, villainesque female. And so as I was watching this movie, I was trying to figure out, has Regina King played any other like evil villainesque roles? And I couldn't think of any. Now, I didn't Google it or look it up, but if you know of any movies or you Google it, let me know in the comments if you've seen her play in any other evil roles in movies. But she killed this role. It literally made me forget that she was Regina King, which is the point, right? Like that's the point of acting, to make you forget who they are and watch them really embody the role of who they're playing. And she did that. She was absolutely amazing. I loved her in this role. Now, I will give you a heads up. There's a lot of strong violence in this movie. There's a lot of strong language in this movie, but it really adds to the movie. I don't feel like it's overdone. It adds to the movie and really gives it layers and levels to the movie. Now, there's several sad parts of this movie, but one of the sad parts for me was when Cherokee Bill killed Jim. And this is not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. But Jim, he was like the fun cowboy. He was the lively cowboy. He was the cowboy who always had something to say. It was to the point to where I started expecting and waiting like, okay, what is Jim gonna say now? Okay, what he got to say about this? What does Jim have to say about that? So that was sad to me that he was killed, but it was part of the movie and it really added to the movie. It really added to the movie. Now, I'm going to take a minute or two and just talk about the women in this movie. The women held this movie down. Absolutely. They held this movie down. The women held these men down like we always do. The women were smart. They were intelligent. They were wise. They were funny. They were beautiful. It was so many levels to each female in this movie. I loved it because women have levels to us. It's just not what you see, what you get. And that was beautifully portrayed in this movie, The Harder They Fall. The women, each female in this movie had so many different levels and complexities to her. It was amazing. It was amazing. I loved every female that was portrayed in this movie, and you will too. I promise you. Also, I want to talk about the music. The music was amazing in this movie. It really reminded me of those times when owners or production people cared about the music just as much as they cared about the movies. When you would go out and run out to buy the soundtrack of a movie, a lot of times you would go out and get it before the movie even came out, or you would go out and get it as soon as the movie came out because the soundtrack was so good. The music in this movie reminded me of those times when the soundtrack was so good. I really hope that the movie execs start really caring about the music of movies and make that a part of the movie like they used to. Here lately, I feel like they just put any kind of music in these movies, but in this movie, The Harder They Fall, they did right by the music. They did right by the soundtrack. I promise you that. Now, back to the movie, The Harder They Fall. If you have not watched this movie, please go and watch this movie. It is on Netflix, and it is an amazing movie. It takes real life cowboys and cowgirls who lived and walked this planet and placed them in an amazing fictional story. And the product is just amazing. It's phenomenal. And it is a pleasure to watch something so great. The writing, so great. Now, as I close this review, I'm going to tell you that the entire movie, the entire 2 hours and change of this movie is about loyalty and revenge. I want you to tell me in the comments which one is the stronger emotion. Is it loyalty, the stronger emotion? Is it revenge, the stronger emotion? And tell me why. Why did you pick loyalty? Why did you pick revenge? Which one is the stronger emotion? That's my review on The Harder They Fall. I didn't want to give too much because there's so much going on in the movie. I didn't want to do spoilers in my review because I want you to go and watch this amazing movie and come back and let me know what you think about this movie in the comments. Like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget, subscribe to my channel.